Day Columbus on Fox 28 starts now.
And it's going to keep doing that. But we have lots coming up this morning. We're going to talk not only about how cold it is outside, but also how your pets are dealing with it and how to be a responsible pet parent
That's
today.
right. And you forget about that. I think a lot of people do. You think, oh, I'm going to put them out, come back in, make my coffee. You have to stand there.
Yeah.
You have to be with your pets right now. It is that bitterly cold. Sure, we've been talking about protecting ourselves, but what about our furry, four-legged friends?
Coming up next here on Good Day Columbus, we're going to talk to a veterinarian about how dangerous cold is even more dangerous for our pets. Nikki's going to introduce us to that little one.
Got to take care of that one. Well, the cold temps, as you know, are not just dangerous for us. It's especially a tough time, very dangerous for our pets as well.
You don't want to leave any of these guys outside because their water's going to freeze if you leave that outside, and they also are just as vulnerable to frostbite as we are. Never mind the fur that they have. Dr. Nikki Eaton is here this morning from the Animal Hospital of Polaris with some advice on that. Good morning.
How are you guys?
Well, before we get into any of that, you have to introduce us.
Yes, this is April.
April.
Yes, April. She's 8 weeks old. We think she's a husky mix. She was actually rescued out of a barn in Kentucky, so if we wouldn't have gotten her, she probably wouldn't have survived this weather.
One blue and one brown eye.
Yes, she's very cute.
Gorgeous.
She's adorable. All right, so if she had been left outside, what would happen?
Probably she would have died.
That would have been the end of it.
Yep.
Oh, it's okay.
Yep.
You're inside.
Well, what do pets endure during weather like this?
You know, we've got to think of them just like us. They can't endure very much. You know, maybe a husky or a Malamute can a little bit more. But in general, no, they can't. Even though they have a fur coat, they're so used to the weather that we are.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, when you start getting cold outside, that means your dog's cold, even though they have a fur coat on.
Right.
So bring them inside. If you have any dogs that stay outside, the garage isn't even warm enough.
It's
just
not.
bring them inside. In this temperature, even though they may have a dog house and all of that, they can't be out there.
Right.
No.
They really can't.
And you know, my little dog, you know, the bigger one, the lab, was a little hardier going outside, and this was a few days back when it got so cold. But the little one, as soon as she was out there, the feet came up.
Yes.
She was so cold, and I ran out and grabbed her.
Yeah.
And don't be surprised if you have a couple of accidents in the house.
Right.
Because even going outside to go to the bathroom, they just don't want to. I mean, my dogs this morning were like, oh, I don't think I'm going out there.
Right.
So.
Can they get frostbite?
Yes.
What do you see? What are the signs when they get frostbite?
Okay.
What do you look for?
So what happens with frostbite is that it gets so cold that all the blood flows to the middle of their body to try to keep them warm, okay? So hypothermia is different. Their temperature just all comes down. But frostbite, everything kind of comes to the middle, and those extremities, the ears, the feet, the nose, start to get very pale, and they'll feel really cold too.
Okay.
They don't feel like the middle of the body. So that's how you know when they're getting frostbite. Now, one of the things that you can do is you can put their feet in just some warm water for about 20 minutes.
Not hot, warm.
Not hot, warm. And just stick their feet in there,
What
and it
about their
warms their
ears?
body. Well, because it's absorbed through their extremities, the warm water is going to go and just warm up the whole body in general. So you don't have to worry. Then all the blood flow is going to start to the ears and to the nose and everything.
Just give them some time in that warm water to actually bring everything back up to where it should be.
Exactly.
Now, people who have like pets, you had mentioned dogs, but cats too. People let cats wander.
Yes, and if there's stray cats outside, they're going to go underneath your hood. So it's very important before you start your car, go out there and bang really hard. Okay. Because the stray cats are going to look for warmth wherever. And if you have an outside cat, they should be inside.
Right. And if you are bringing them, say you have a heated garage, keep in mind there's antifreeze in there.
Yes.
There are a lot of other products that
they
are
can
very
get into.
dangerous. What are some of the bad ones? Antifreeze,
antifreeze is probably the biggest. We've seen dogs get into motor oil too. That causes a lot of problems. Gasoline can cause problems. A lot of people keep the salt that they salt everything in the garage. That can cause problems.
What about that? Is salt okay to use, or does that irritate their feet?
It does irritate. Especially if you're walking the dog, and probably a lot of people aren't walking the dog, but you don't know what your neighbors use salt-wise. So if it's not pet safe, just make sure every time you come home, get a warm washcloth and just wipe the feet off so it doesn't become irritated.
So you don't get a chemical in there that causes irritation.
Exactly.
Wow.
And how will we know if our pet was exposed? What will they whine?
They will, shivering, lethargic, not really wanting to do very much. So that's some of the things that you will see exposure-wise for them.
Now, is she up for adoption?
She is. She is up for adoption. So somebody can call the clinic if they're interested in April, and let's hope April comes real quick, right?
Oh my gosh, she is adorable.
Look up here, April. Look up here. Oh, look at those eyes. Look how cute
She is gorgeous.
Are.
She is. Wow. And just ask.
You're pretty too, Nikki.
Oh,
just so you know.
you.
You're welcome.
Just call the clinic and ask for Rachel.
All right.
And we have lots of puppies actually up for adoption.
And for more on pet safety in this cold weather, just log on to our website, myfox28columbus.com. Click on news links, and we've linked the Animal Hospital of Polaris there as well.